Oh, I know it. I got that. I got that. I got that. Woohoo! Well, the run is going great. World record invalid. Yeah, it's all fine on my end, so unfortunately I'm not recording locally. So, oh, there's Howling Blizzard. I don't know if I defended in time. This is a really good Cerberus fight, though. Oh my gosh, this is going so well. This is to make up for bad Captain Crossbones. Oh my goodness, this is going so well. This game is the best game after Metal Gear Solid 4 on the PS3. I've never played any of the Metal Gear Solid games, but my friend, a good friend of mine, Plywood, is actually a really good Metal Gear Solid runner. Come on, please. So even though that's not going to do a whole lot of damage, it refreshed Mighty's timer, which pays for itself, despite how much damage it's going to do. Does a little bit less than, oh man. Does a little bit less than Oliver would have. Look at what this dude is doing over here. What are you doing, boy? I'm gonna play really, really brave right here. Oh, and that punished. Didn't kill him. That should kill him. Wow, probably the best Cerberus I've ever had. Yeah, my friend Plywood, he loves Metal Gear Solid. I think he has all the records for the category, for the first Metal Gear Solid. For all those categories. And he swears by it. It's like his favorite game. So I'm sure he would agree with you with the Metal Gear Solid 4 review. What the hell is that straw poll? I didn't click it, so I'm not entirely sure. You guys all just have to take your skepticism as a reason. Plywood is a pretty cool. Plywood's the best, man. He's awesome. A good homie of mine. Oops. So now we have to, we're basically on a mission to get the gems that we've now acquired to basically put together our ultimate weapon. We have to go to the people who are able to actually fix it, and one of them being Marcuson, Swain's brother from Hamlin. So I hate going to Hamlin because you have to run through all these screens and all these corridors and everything just to get to the end to talk to him for 5 seconds and dip right back out. So Hamlin is my least favorite place to visit by far. But once we get Mornstar, the game turns into just a Mornstar spamming festival, which actually proves to be a little bit difficult at times because of how long Mornstar takes to cast, but it does just ridiculous amounts of damage, just crazy amounts of damage. Watched him since he was doing Silent Hill. Good, yeah. He still tries to get me into Silent Hill, and I try to get him into Parasite Eve. So neither one of us have decided to commit to each other's game yet, but honestly, I'm getting the better deal out of that. Silent Hill is not nearly as long as Parasite Eve. Oh wait, I need a Spirit Medium. Nino Hoppy, that's exactly what it is. This whole game, you just mash circle as fast, you know, in order to jump. So by the time I'm done doing this run, my thumb is in like incredible shape. It's also sore for a few days to come, but you know, it's okay. I think I will return to my bed AFK because I've been up with Spyro, Ratchet, and Clank. Woke up just before you really went to sleep. To loud sounds of the world's ends with you, mate. Huh. Why am I not able to skip, man? Pindell, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. You have a good night. Thanks for sticking around, man. When thumb wrestling comes up in the Olympics, heck yeah. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm throwing. That's what I'm doing. Land, Tingri! Oh my goodness. Went to the wrong place. I don't know what I was thinking. Lost a little bit of time there. It's okay. I was ahead of myself. We don't go back to Skull Mountain for a little while. I always get the two of those mixed up. I don't know why. Tombstone Trail and Skull Mountain. Maybe it's the sound, the theme they have. So unfortunately, we are done with Mighty, which makes me a little bit sad because Mighty is a boss. But we have no more use for him because now we have just better spells that we can cast on our own. Oh shoot. Alrighty, ready to rock. Superhero the thumb. Yeah, it's a pretty ripped thumb by now, man. I've done runs of this. I've done like almost a run a week. Maybe sometimes I've attempted 2 in a week. And I did one a couple days ago, and it really I wake up the next morning, my thumb is in like significant pain. And I go to work and people are like, what's wrong? I don't want to tell them, so I'm just like, oh, nothing. Little do they know. So here is where the AI cast trick really comes into play. You can afford to squeeze in like a bunch. Now that we have Cappuccino's doing a good share of our mana restoration. We're able to squeeze a lot more Arrow of the Lights out of a 70 mana restore as opposed to a 32. Or at 30, I'm sorry. So this fight usually goes pretty smoothly. It's not a crazy difficult fight. The only thing you gotta watch out for is poison. Poison is sometimes annoying. Just in the way that it works. It kind of stops you from moving and stuff. So it can be a little bit of an annoyance. They're gonna eat that. Can't tell them you mashed the same button for a couple hours. I wish it was a couple hours. No, I actually did tell the people I worked with. I was like, yo, Kuni world record, boys. I did it. They were like, yo, it's 4 a.m. Leave me alone. I said, whatever, you guys just don't understand. I called my roommate, who was sleeping, and he was like, cool. Wow, he's just doing Cruel Rain. That's unfortunate. He actually has an ability that doesn't go into a cutscene like this in a single target, and that's what we preferably want to see, because it keeps everybody from getting poisoned. Which is obviously ideal. Cast a spell, Oliver, for G's. Don't let Swain die. Oh, that was close. They just don't understand. They don't understand the grind. Wasn't fast enough. Being a gamer is hard and nobody appreciates me, exactly. Nobody understands my suffering. While most of it's self-inflicted. Oh, yikes. I'm gonna get punished. Ooh, managed to get it off, thank goodness. I wish somebody else would get that, because I don't need it. Mighty, that's fine. Mighty's strong. People don't understand how awesome those frame-perfect tricks are. My parents saw me practicing once, and they were so confused. Yeah, my parents have walked in on me doing a whole lot of confusing things in my life. So I think that playing video games, they're probably like, you know what, I don't even care. Do it. It's not the weirdest thing I've ever done, I'll tell you that much. There's only one frame-perfect trick in this whole game, and it's the sewer skip, the familiar retreat glitch. But yeah, it is a dope trick, and I feel really good about getting it first try. And then I always think about like these crazy streamers who have like nothing but frame-perfect tricks in their runs. I'm like, you poor fools. Oh, Esther almost got me killed. Gotcha, Chasm. So this is pretty much how this fight goes. Unfortunately, Swain died, but it's not in my best interest to raise him right now because it slows me down and it'll get me punched a bunch. Although at this point it might have been worth it. This fight is taking a little bit longer than I expected, so. But my counter game is very strong. I managed to counter almost every single attack. I don't think I've missed any. So as you can see, the AI trick is very, very helpful. Nice. Everything's still working fine? Yeah, I mean, it seems that way. I know that they were concerned about something a little bit earlier, but I think everything's going swell right now. Be back in 90 when you're done. Alright, cool, cool. An hour and a half would be an incredible world record, but maybe closer to 2 hours. So we actually had to be really careful. I'm coming up on one of the soft locks in this game that we don't want to have to deal with. Man, I don't know why my controller has been doing this to me today. I've been having a lot of trouble with skipping. Maybe I'm just not using my thumbs to mash appropriately enough. So I don't want to explain too much of the story right now, so excuse my lack of commentary as far as the story is concerned. But right now there's actually, we're coming up upon like a big story point. I'll just explain it all up until that point here in a little bit. So now we actually get spells that, and when we get these spells, it rearranges my spell order. So I guarantee you, I'm going to accidentally cast. I'm going to accidentally cast Unleash, which is very, very slow and does very little damage for the amount of mana that it costs. Let's see if I can remember not to do it, but every single time I seem to cast it on accident. Yeah, no, I wish I could cut 2 hours off the estimate. I did cut almost an hour off the estimate, though. I went from a 7:20 estimate to a 6:30. And that was just in practicing for the run. For the marathon, I got a lot better. So I was like, oh crap, I feel really bad now because my estimate is going to be a huge gap in time. Oh, why did I do that for? There's 30 seconds of my life I'll never get back. Not really, but it's still about 15. Wow, so it is 30 seconds because I can't travel from here. This is such a shame. Seems weird to have an RPG speedrun done in English. Do other languages not make this game faster? No, unfortunately. Text is displayed the way it's displayed regardless. And you can have the language changed, but it doesn't. It's one of those games where it's like multi-language. You just change it in the menu, and it actually doesn't. It actually doesn't affect the timing whatsoever, as far as I know. I know that because Quaz, the other runner of this game, runs it in Japanese, and I don't think that there's like a big enough time disparity that either of us have noticed, if one does exist. I just prefer English because I'm just used to it. Super Mario RPG cut 5 hours off the estimate? Really? Like, for why? Don't worry, we'll just fill the time with a Ni no Kuni task. Never forget the final. If I end up world recording this, I don't even know if I can submit it between the Final Fantasy IV task in the very beginning and I think I dropped stream a little bit ago. Too bad I didn't record locally, but my computer's not really good enough to be able to withstand it. Unfortunately, seems fortunate. Guess it just depends on how you look at it. The game had a 2 to 3. Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy. See, that's the thing I was worried about in this game. My estimate might be 6:30, but if I die to Cassiopeia in the very end, it could that's like a 20-minute time loss. So all of a sudden it could be much more realistic that the 7:20 estimate is closer. And that's just kind of the nature of these really long games that aren't guaranteed or a little bit risky. Especially considering that I'm going to be playing like at a world record strat as opposed to like taking it safe. Just because of the pace I'm on right now. So I don't want to... it would be a shame to die there, but it wouldn't hurt because I gave such a generous estimate. Some people ended up watching SMRPG tasks to the run for the rest of the 5 hours. Oh, really? Is that what they did? That makes so much sense, like just to put a task on. But unfortunately, there is no task for Ni no Kuni, so that's a shame. I think he was going to fill the time with Final Fantasy IV tasks. afterwards. So at least the time is being filled. It's a cool idea. I never actually thought about that. So Phil, our buddy, he's the guy who helped us build the car in the very beginning that you rode in, and your mom died as a result. So he blames himself for your mother's death, probably because it's his fault, but whatever. I didn't do it. I didn't cash Unleash. Thank goodness. Okay. Ill Will is an attack bonus, so every time we see Ill Will, we can squeeze in a few more attacks. But this guy actually hits very, very, very hard. And even though you counterattack him, oftentimes, because of the shape of him, you're gonna get hit with his attacks anyways. So you gotta make sure that you have enough HP to withstand that kind of stuff. See, like, that's a good example right there. So I countered him, and I did everything right. The only issue is, you know, he just is a weird shape, so it's really hard to dodge it appropriately. Yeah, he does work. Please, Ill Will. Reign of Terror. I don't think I can. Oh, I got it just in time. You know, Kuni glitch exhibition where you just float around for an hour. Now, I wish I could recreate some of the glitches. We've had a couple of glitches happen that were really bonkers, but it wasn't any. No, it wasn't anything that we actually did on Axe, you know, had a setup for or anything. So what you just saw me cast was Fortune's Fool. It cost 20 mana, and it just RNGs. It can either refill your mana, it can either do 1 damage to the enemy, or it can kill your own team. So it's a really useless spell. Sometimes it does a little bit of damage, but ultimately it exists just to troll the speedrunners who are trying to rifle through the menu really quickly. Okay. So when you cast Ill Will, you just take that time to get yourself ready. So as you can see, it's very easy to just take a ton of damage despite still countering, which is kind of a shame. And Esther has learned Cheer now, and Cheer and there's an ability Marcus and casts as well that works the same way, but they actually root you in place while the animation's going off. So there's a couple times where they actually will kill me because they're casting things to try and help. We want to see Oliver cast Arrow of Light, obviously, every time that I switch off of him like that. But it's completely random what the AI decides to cast. We know that it's mana. Well, sometimes, like if he has higher mana, he's more likely to cast the stronger spell, the more mana expensive spells. But it doesn't always work in that fashion.
We did it!
So sometimes he'll just he'll cast Fireball, which is a 4 mana spell that does 20 damage. There's just nothing you can do about it. Just gotta hope that he's gonna be a bro and help you out. But right here, we are taking some heart from ourselves and giving it to our buddy Philip, because he has no ambition. He's lacking it. He still blames himself for killing your mom, so we'll just give him a little bit of ambition. That should fix him. Then we gateway. So it's funny, everybody has like a counterpart in the fairy world. Well, Philip's counterpart is a mouse. A mouse wearing glasses. Like, One guy gets to be Tingri, the dragon. Oliver gets to be a wizard. Um, Esther gets to be like a great sage's daughter, like this great, you know, promising, genius or whatever. And then Philip just gets to be a rat. He already killed your mom, and now he gets to be a mouse in the fairy world. So like he's just taking L's, you know what I'm saying? He just takes L's all day, every day. Chrono Trigger tasks. That would be pretty cool to watch as well. I wouldn't mind watching a couple tasks of games, like in between game blocks. Because I know a lot of marathons, they find it really difficult to like fill every single inkling of time, especially when people either go over or under on their estimates. So that's actually a pretty good idea that I've never seen any other marathon do before. Just fill the gap with tasks. At least you don't got to worry about the runner. Oh, I don't know. The Catante said that something about a Chrono Trigger task. Desert Bus high score percent task. Yeah, maybe not that much. Maybe just not that one. I actually watched that Desert Bus stream. I caught as much of it as I could. Shit is so wild. Only use me, Kipo. Hey, do me a favor and bring me some coffee, will you? I would greatly appreciate it. Only 1,001 hours long. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Only use me, Kipo, is my roommate. That's why I asked him to bring me coffee. I don't expect just strangers to bring me coffee, but if anybody's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you're willing to, go ahead and let me know. Because it's almost 9 a.m. here. I'm a sleepy boy. TAS is a tool-assisted speedrun, so basically it's like a computer program that runs the most perfect possible run of a game. Perfect RNG and perfect execution on all the glitches and skips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. So usually they're like way faster than what is actually capable by humans. The time gaps on this marathon are longer than on others. That makes sense. Only queers and steers come from Texas. Oh man. And the Dallas Cowboys. Most of them are on the Dallas Cowboys. There are some half-assed tools. Those are the most entertaining ones of mine. I love TASs in general. It's cool to see just what it looks like when things don't screw up. It boggles the mind a little bit. So the good news is we should be about like 8 or 9 minutes ahead of the world record right now. So as long as I play pretty consistently, there's actually a lot of time to save coming up as well. So we should be able to world record if all things go as planned. So actually right here as I zone into this next area is a soft lock opportunity. So I'm going to take this cutscene skip very slow. I'm going to wait for the cutscene to load. And then there's a second one. And I'm going to wait for both of them to load. Like, if you skip the first one too quickly, you will actually, the second one will never be prompted to load. I kind of wish someone would host like a weekend-long task viewing marathon, commentary and stuff. That would be pretty cool, but just not a lot of people know a whole bunch about. You'd have to know their game pretty well. Maybe if it was like the developers of the task. They could kind of commentate on it. So right here we're using the levitate skip to just skip through everything without having to deal with any of these encounters. Yeah, task creators are a different breed. They really are. That stuff blows my mind. There's a lot of work goes into that, man. Just as much work as it goes into like an actual run. Nightmare fuel. Making a task sucks. I've never tried to. The task for this game would be crazy because we actually have a glitch that saves a stupid amount of time on some boss fights, but we can't recreate it because it's so tight window-wise. So I try every once in a while. If I have the opportunity, I'm like, I might as well give it a shot, but I've never been able to recreate it ever since the world record video. It's crazy that it happened in the world record run, though. There was like this glitch that locked one of the bosses in place, so I just got to sit there and beat on him to death. And if we could apply that to like potentially every boss in the game, it would cut like probably a whole hour off this run at least. Go through a game one frame at a time. Yeah, could you imagine doing that for like Ni no Kuni, 7 hours long, 6.5 hours long? That would be absurd. So, God bless him. So right here we have Vileheart. He looks a lot like a Kingdom Hearts boss to me. He is pretty annoying. Oh, please. Oh, so yeah, so right there I just stunned my own teammates. So that's not preferred. Someone needs to do a bait and Kaidos 100% now for tasks. Oh, that would be so ridiculous. Okay, so Ward, you're gonna have to get used to right now. It's one of the worst spells in the whole game because it goes into a cutscene for no reason, and it will cancel the big spell that I use a little bit later on. One of our teammates likes to cast Ward as soon as you put him into a defensive stance, and when you do that, it cancels, even though it'll consume my mana for my strong spell, it'll take the mana for it and it'll just never do damage. So it is so punishing to see Ward cast. So anytime Ward comes out, it's pretty much a meme, and you never want to have to deal with it. Wasn't there some glitch like that in Dark Souls 3? Really? That's funny. That's funny. Wow, I've never seen him do two abilities back to back like that. Oh, that sucks. So just like you saw right there, even though I defended it 100% perfectly, sometimes you gotta eat crap regardless. And as the game goes on, more and more bosses have that ability to just kind of negate defensive stance, which really stinks because it makes a big difference. Is there such thing as caffeine OD? Yes, there absolutely is. Not in Ni no Kuni, thank goodness, but in real life, 100%. Caffeine is actually quite a dangerous thing. It just has takes such a toll on your nervous system. I know that I've been warned to drink less coffee than I do. I pretty much only drink coffee and water. So I know that I've been told multiple times that it could be very, very bad for me. Can you imagine if Oliver would get an upset stomach? Oh man, if there was a limit on the amount of coffees you could drink, it's like Oliver's full or whatever, you know how some games have that. Like, you're full. That would be so... This game would be so impossible to speedrun. Once you're on the floor shaking with heart, yeah, call 911. That would be something cool to see if you use too many certain items in a certain period, you take damage. That would be cool to see for somebody else running. I would hate to play this game like that. What's up, dog? No, I'm putting this in. Appreciate you. So Vile Driver, you can actually just get far away from it. It won't do any damage to you. And you can just make the other idiots defend. I just need to focus on pushing out as much damage as possible. Don't call 911 if you're not in America. Yeah, I don't actually know. What does it do if you're not in America? Is 911 someone else's phone number? Some poor guy is over there just like, yo, leave me alone. Oops, I don't know why I did that. Caffeine itself only prevents you from being more tired. Yeah, I have to imagine it works a lot like methamphetamines do, where like your body is still tired. It's just that your mind is, or your mind is still tired, but your body is not, and that's like super dangerous because you can make yourself do stuff that like is very, very unhealthy, pushing yourself to mad limits. I appreciate you, bro. 911 also works in Canada. Everything good works in Canada. Cool, very good fight. Okay, my question, I was thinking of runners. I love watching speedruns, so no offense. Besides, I guess you heard this question. Isn't it more exciting to discover the route for yourselves? It depends, man. Some people are just like myself. I'm not good at routing. There's a lot of effort that goes into routing, and I just don't understand. Like, people always are able to come up with great routes, and I'm like, well, I didn't even think about that. However, I am extremely good at following directions. So if there's like a really good guide or route, and it's like written, or I can watch a good video of it, like I can usually learn it really, really quickly and to a lot of success, whereas I can't route nearly as well. So I think there's just different types of people who prefer one thing over the other. Like I know Author Blues loves routing games, and he would actually just prefer to route games most of the time. But unfortunately, it's not doable for me. Like I've tried. I'll definitely be routing Kuni too. I'm actually going to save right here. I'm afraid of soft locking, so I apologize for having to save. It's very non-speed run of me, but if I soft lock, I want to have a spot to load from that's not an hour away. Yeah, so all the games that I have world records in, or actually all the games I've speedrun ever, I've never played casually. So Parasite Eve, Ni no Kuni, South Park Stick of Truth, that kind of stuff. So in order to route it, you would have to play it semi-casually, you know what I mean? So now we get Mornstar, which changes everything. It makes this so much more doable as a game. No, why did I do that? Please give me mana. Okay, cool. That's actually not the worst thing that can happen. So look how much damage this Mornstar does every time I cast it. Just absurd amounts of damage. And that's pretty much what we use for the remainder of the game. Now, a lot of the bosses in this game will use those kind of cutscene attacks like that. And because Mornstar takes so long, if they use them in real quick succession, like this guy does a lot, this is actually an incredible fight compared to my world record time. My world record time, it took me almost 3 or 4 minutes to fight that boss. Because he was timing his abilities so much so that like it would cancel my spell, but consume my mana still, and put it on cooldown. So it was doing everything but damage, and so it was really, really struggle. I actually smashed my controller on my live on stream on my world record video and clipped it. I got really upset. Even before that 1 damage saves a turn. Yeah, actually, you kill him in 3 casts of Mornstar, so it actually hurt me quite a bit. Oops. Because I didn't have the mana to cast it a 3rd time. You should be able to cast it 3 times and kill him. And I wasn't able to because of it. Yeah, so we received Mornstar, the actual weapon. Our weapon is called Mornstar, and the spell that we now have is also called Mornstar. You actually don't get the spell until you assemble all the 3 gems and go beat Vileheart. But you have the weapon in its most basic form pretty early on. Mornstar the Grey. So, and when I played Final Fantasy XI for a lot of years, it was, we played with a lot of Japanese servers and things like that. And my favorite thing that from the Japanese, like shorthand and text and whatnot, is they use like W, like the slanted W for like laugh out loud. So we got really used to in what was called a link shell, which is basically a guild. We got really, really used to just typing WWW a bunch when it was like something funny. Yeah, because I think the Japanese, what is it called, the Kani, where you actually spell it out, is spelled W-A-R-A-U, and they just shorten it to just W, and it basically means laugh out loud. That's from what I learned playing Final Fantasy XI with Japanese players for a lot of years. And it's another thing was European players would say ORZ, O-R-Z. It was like a big European thing as like a laugh out loud replacement. So it was funny to see like the different dialects and how they would meme and chat. So right here, if you have motion sensitivity, I would highly suggest you turn away from the screen because it's gonna make you sick. It almost makes me sick every time I do this. Man, I hate doing that. Makes me sick more than this screen. Weeb life is the only life. Hey man, be proud of what you love. So right over here, because we didn't get the the steel from the pirate, we're actually picking up this radiant blade, which will be used for the last familiar we get in the run, the last familiar that we use in the run. It's a really good familiar. Comes with Marcusson. Wasn't a weeb till my first trip to Tokyo. Well, don't say that, because some people, some weebs would actually die to go to Tokyo. I know that me and my roommate would love to go to Tokyo, not just because of anime culture, but in general. We're a big fan of, you know, video games, movies, TV, things like that. So, we're not like super weeb or anything, but it would be cool to go. Kinney's hat. Yeah, Nino Kuni, man. You absolutely, if you still have a copy of it, I highly suggest that you you go get it, you finish it when you got the time, man. It's a great game. And so far, we are on world record pace, so hopefully we can maintain it for the last hour and a half of the run. Seeing the cherry blossoms, yeah, that is pretty cool. Oh, hell yeah. I got my coffee. My roommate brought me some coffee. So shout outs to Only Use Me Kipo and chat for bringing me some coffee. I love it. I feel a little bit like Oliver right now, you know what I'm saying? So this fight, you actually can squeeze in a couple Moon Stars for every one of his abilities. You can play this fight kind of greedy, especially when you cast things like Fell Wind. I don't know if Pyre knocks me down, so I might have actually screwed that up. Oh no, okay, I got it off. Thank goodness. Bleak Midwinter's coming out here pretty soon. No. Oh man, that's bad. So Even Star is a best roommate, hell yeah. He's a pretty solid roommate, I'll tell you that much. So this is actually, I would consider, oh my goodness, the punish, the hard punish. I would actually consider this the hardest fight of the 3 phases, the last fight being exceptionally easy. I should be able to get that off. So as you notice, I can actually move a little bit while I'm casting Morningstar, and that's actually quite important because you can actually get out of range of stuff. Don't cast Ward, come on, man. How's the estimate? It's actually going to be really, so far we're going to be really under the estimate. We might even be under the world record, depending on how the rest of this fight goes. So that should get off. That should be the fight. Okay, cool. And the reason I didn't bring Swain back to life is because he would automatically come back to life. Wow, you gotta be kidding me, Swain. You gotta be kidding me, buddy. You give me a break. And I'm gonna eat Onslaught. Okay, Dark Ages, that's fine. So what needs to happen is I need to actually pull aggro first, so because these guys will just eat damage like crazy if I don't. He's gonna cast Onslaught here pretty soon, so I just want to make sure that I can defend it, even if it requires baiting him around a little bit. Come on, man, hurry up and cast it. I'm gonna get punished so hard for this, I just know it. There it is, cool. The world record for this run is actually 6 hours, 27 minutes, and 7 seconds. I believe this is the one fight in the game that you can't actually counter. I think he's uncounterable. Yikes. So right there, we always want to bait out a melee attack from him, because it guarantees that we'll have enough time to cast Mornstar at least once. Might get punished here, but that's okay. I can afford to get punished based on where my HP's at, so it's better just to play greedy. Hopefully I can get that one off, that'd be huge. Very nice. If I can squeeze this last one out, unfortunately not. So this should kill him. Maybe not, it'll be close. Okay, cool, brilliant. So then this next fight is extremely easy, because it's almost impossible to die. Esther and Swain, however, will die probably a lot. But it's actually really, really hard to lose the run in this next fight, despite it being the third and final phase. Oliver, what are you doing, bro? So I actually, to a degree, want to keep my teammates alive because it allows me to be able to do the AI cast trick if they are still not dead. Casually throwing spirit bombs around. That's what he does. It really does feel like that, and some of the animation does kind of look like that as well. And if you can get him to cast a free Mornstar, because the cooldown is so long, you can actually get a lot of really good value out of it. So that's why I need to be able to switch to Esther and Swain. See, here you go. Look, a free Mornstar. Oh, and Drippy interrupted it. Wow. Come on, Drippy. Wow. Did they both die? Kidding me? Yeah, there are very risky points in this game. There's actually a couple of risky fights coming up. But they are kind of trivialized. And you can't, it's kind of difficult to lose a run. Like, if you're on world record pace or something, you're competing with really good splits, then yeah, it's definitely possible. But if you are just trying to finish the run, especially for like marathon purposes, it's really not difficult because the continue feature that we have. So what happens is like when you die, you can just hit continue and start the fight over. You lose obviously a ton of time, especially to a run where there was no deaths. But as far as like being able to finish, I should absolutely not have any issues with being able to finish. Oops. I wish I could make these guys stand back here. But they do what they want. Yeah, for marathon purposes, that definitely is the most important part. Just being able to finish the run. I keep putting her in attack for some reason. It's just a habit. Yeah, so in this fight, I'll explain it really quick. What happens is Despair gets used on my right, his left, and all it does is it puts a status effect on you of some sort. And then Blast from Beyond gets used on his left, or my left, his right, and it does damage. And then Circles of Hell summons random circles. Oh man. And on the ground. So you can honestly dodge all those attacks because you absolutely know they're coming and where they're going to be. So it makes it quite easy to not die on this fight, despite it being the third and final phase. So that should be it right there. Brilliant. So that was actually a really, really good Dark Djinn series.
We won!
I really like the skill animations from Legend of Dragoon. But yes, you are correct. This is the last boss in the DS game. So the original Ni no Kuni, or at least, I don't want to say the original, the first Ni no Kuni was released on DS, and it was just Ni no Kuni, or the Ni no Kuni and the Dark Djinn, or whatever. And that boss that I just fought, that was where the actual DS game ends. So from now on, or from this point forward, it's all going to be content that's exclusive to Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch on the PS3. And as such, true to like the DS style of ending, they explain so much of the storyline right here, so much of the plot and everything gets discussed, and you obtain Alicia's pendant. So now, as I'm doing this next little leg of the run, I can explain to you guys a few things as far as the story is concerned. So Oliver's mom, her soulmate in the fairy world was a chick named Alicia, right? And she was the strongest sorceress, or the strongest, what do they call her? A sage, which is basically like a good sorceress, like a white hat, or essentially. And she was out to stop Shadar, the Dark Djinn, the guy we just killed. So what she did is she went back in time and to the real world to stop him from being born in the human world. Therefore, or not stop him from being born, but he had killed his copy in the human world in order for him to not be able to be targeted by that weakness. So she went back into that world, the human world, to be able to stop him. And what she did was actually end up giving birth to Oliver while she was in the human world, and Oliver became Shadar's soulmate in the human world at that point. So Alicia took care of him despite being thousands of years old and very sick and having traveled through time and whatnot. And we find out that Alicia was actually Oliver's mom the whole time. It is very confusing. I highly suggest you go watch the YouTube cutscenes, because that is where like the cutscenes explain it so well, and I did a really poor job. You know what? I never put the oh, what did I just do that for? Okay, we're good. I only have the DS version of this game, never having owned the PS3. I've actually never played the DS version myself, but I should definitely check that out at some point. So right now we gotta go get P. This little girl named P. She's a little green ghosty looking girl that's been following us around, and she's in my bed at my house. So basically I gotta go get P in my bed. Oh. You know, that joke is never funny despite being 5 hours in, so. So we go fetch P, and then we, now we gotta go deal with the big three. So the big three are, basically, what happens is, the White Witch, her name is Cassiopeia, she has this thing called mana, right? So in order to save her people a long time ago, she used this forbidden magic called mana, M-A-N-N-A, and by doing so, killed everybody, and it made them zombies. So this is having casted it again to wipe out the whole world so that she can basically start a civilization anew. It turns everybody into these lifeless zombies. So right now we got to go through all of the same cities that we've been traveling through most of this entire game, and we got to go kill the our friends who are in zombie form right now, essentially, to disperse the mana. And right now I'm trying to get this is a frame perfect trig, so it sucks, but it is definitely worth its weight in gold if we can get it to work. Oh my goodness. Come on. What is happening? Oh. Finally, oh my goodness. But this is the only way I can make it through here without taking any encounters, so it's actually worth wasting all that time, even still. But right now we gotta go fight King Tom. And King Tom is brutal. He's most people's least favorite boss in the whole game, besides the very end. He has an ability called Itchy Scratchy, which pretty much one-shots most of your team, and he spams it. You can really only afford to cast one spell in between every... Oh, I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I forgot about that guy. This game is 30 frames per second, yes.
Here we go.
720p, 30 frames per second.
Jeepers.
Man, that's so unfortunate. Oh, kidding me, man. So when you come through that zone, there's always that guy. He's going to be standing there, and if you happen to be in front of him when he spawns, you're going to get back attacked. So it's a super sucky uh, thing that they pull, basically, on you. And I always forget, and I always end up taking that encounter for absolutely no reason. Okay, so we're all good at mana-wise. Yeah, no, I screw. Usually I get it within like the first 5 tries. That one took forever for some reason. I don't know why. But this is King Tom. His first phase is usually pretty simple. No, I casted Even Star. Once again, our spell menu has been rearranged a little bit. The list has changed. So I accidentally casted the wrong spell because my spell had actually been moved up one. Always happens, but it's fine. So King Tom in the first phase, when he's on all fours, is not too bad. He's pretty easy. We just got to kill him as quickly as possible. And now that we have Marcus then and Jules, it's actually like we do a good amount of damage as a team. But if he uses Crazy Claws, we're in together. So we have to make sure we defend Itchy, Scratchy, and Crazy Claws. Now I'm actually going to try to set up a glitch right here that makes him completely not doing anything for the second phase, which it slows the. Wow. So Marcus and casting Ward actually cost me my my spell right there. And then my teammate just healed me and locked me in place. So you can see how the AI can really screw you up in this game. We don't want to see Crazy Claws. Okay, that's fine. Ooh, that might actually kill him, so I might have screwed up the glitch already. Nope, not quite. So this is how we set up the... Oh no! Marcuson's gonna kill him. Yeah, so what happens with the glitch is we actually skip this cutscene and he just stays rooted in place for some reason. I've never been able to recreate it. But it's cool to try. Saves about 5 minutes if you can get it. Wow, the double cat slap. That's incredible. He literally went from cat slap to like, I switched to Oliver to cat slap again, which is a one-hit KO. So that's pretty unfortunate. Sometimes that's just how King Tom is. And then Itchy Scratchy will one-shot everybody if you don't defend. So, well, not one-shot, but it brings you pretty low. So now we have to prioritize just kind of catching our breath for a second here. And I need Marcuson up, unfortunately, so every time I use a Phoenix Feather, I run the risk of being killed. And because Itchy Scratchy is so deadly, I can't actually afford to I can only afford to do one action in between every Itchy Scratchy. So I cast Mornstar or use an item. What? Oh my goodness. This is absurd. He used 2 abilities back to back. It shouldn't ever have to happen, honestly. Oliver's gonna die again because he's casting more and stuff. Jeez Louise, I can't deal with these people. So as you can see, this is where you lose most of your time, dealing with this kind of crap. Completely out of your hands. One of the 4 claws stay to the face. And because menu lag is so bad in this game, you can sometimes you'll use an item, and the menu lag will be so bad that it'll actually that will actually force you to just be completely screwed. Like you can't use defend or anything like that because you're still in the stasis from. I'm just gonna let him die at this point. You're still in the stasis from using the item. So this really sucks because Markusen does a significant amount of damage, but I can't afford to just sit here like this and be constantly doing nothing. So Markusen wants to go over there and just punch him for some reason. And none of them defended, even though I told them to. So it's just like why try? You know what I mean? So demoralizing. This is very greedy of me. But so you can see how advantageous it is if, like in my world record run, I managed to glitch him to where he didn't do anything. He just sat there and I just more and started him to death. So the unfortunate thing about him casting Ward there is it's actually going to allow him a second turn. Yeah, see, so he was able to cat slap twice because of the interaction between Ward. So Markusen actually did me a disservice. He's like a Cheshire cat on steroids. Yeah, absolutely. I actually love King Tom's character design and everything. He's very cool looking, but he just makes me upset. Wow, so stuff like that happens. Interrupts your attacks with the melee. I don't know if I live through this, even with me defending. Oh, okay, I did. So the good thing is that Esther should always have an adamant badge on for the entirety of the game, and that means that she can't ever be one-shotted. So as long as Esther is has more than 30% of her HP, she'll always live. Oh, that was a bad decision. Markusen is a troll. Markusen makes me so pissed off. It's like he does a lot of damage, but you can never get him to do anything besides cast Ward and screw you over a little bit. Like, I need you to do damage. And then see, like that kind of stuff happens. And you just get screwed out of a cast, basically. But luckily, after this fight, the other two are very, very easy. Most of the time. So this is just the one you gotta struggle through. Kinda wanna bait his attack, usually. But sometimes that just wastes him that period of time. I'm dead. And Mornstar didn't even get to go off. Wow, King Tom is such a stupid fight. I told them to defend, so let's see how many actually did. None of them. What a surprise. Once again, the AI in this game just, oh my god, really deciding the outcome. There is a tactic, but even still, it works a lot like the tactic, like when I hit defense or attack stance. Like he'll use just all his attacks until he runs out of mana, and then he'll just stand there. So unless you're keeping him topped off, it's not as favorable to do it that way. So it should only be like a couple more, probably one more rotation. So they both started casting healing magic, and that's pretty common. When you put them in defense stance, they'll do something defensive, whether it be cast a defensive spell or actually go into defensive mode. Alright, cool. So we should be dead now. Arrow of Light actually should do it. Alright, cool. So terrible, terrible King Thon fight, but I didn't die, and that's what matters. I actually died in my world record on this before I glitched him, so there's actually a lot of time that got lost there. So I should still be ahead of the world record by a little bit, I just don't know by how much. And I don't have my splits open because I'm using a different split timer for this run, and I don't want to screw it up. So right here we actually find out a little bit about P, who's been in the game this entire time. We'll do Mamoon next, just because it's a little more difficult. And basically, P was a girl in her kingdom. Her dad died, right? So the noble people of her kingdom basically formed like this group of 12 men who were these sages, and they were basically a council. And because she was just a young girl when the king died, she was made queen, but the council pretty much controlled everything she did. So these very corrupt men ended up wreaking famine and poverty and starvation. And starvation and such on her people. So that is what led her to, as she got older, eventually cast mana to hope and remedy that and save her people. There we go. So it's really hard to skip past those guys. I get that encounter probably 50% of the time. I could have probably set it up a little bit better, but it's okay. This is unfortunately here in Mamoon you can't use the sewer skip like I did in the last place. So this is going to be just like the last one, 2 phases. It's the queen from earlier. Except that her damaging abilities are not nearly as punishing. However, she has the ability to, she uses them a little bit quicker in succession. So sometimes she'll use Flying Cow, which is her equivalent of Itchy Scratchy. Sometimes she'll use them pretty quick. See, that's one of the downsides of using the AI cast trick, is they don't give a crap about how safe they are. They will absolutely just run themselves into death in order to cast a spell. So it's unfortunate that Marcuson will a lot of the time just cast healing magic on himself, because it depletes his mana. I'd rather heal him with items and let him just do damage, but unfortunately, alas, it's not that simple. So I wanted Oliver to cast Mornstar there when I switched off of him. He had a small window to do so. And had he, it would have initiated the glitch I was mentioning earlier. Fucking... I'm sorry. Freaking ward. Sorry guys, I apologize. So every time we see Hottie Huff, it's actually really favorable for us. Because she could use that or Flying Cow. So obviously we want that really weak one every single time we can get it. Because Flying Cow is very punishing. Nice. So free Mornstar cast. How underleveled are you and compared up? Almost half. So like most of the time people are like high, because we get Marcus in and he's like in the 50s and we're still like in the low 30s. So it kind of, you should be, you know, at the same level, if not a little bit higher than the NPCs you receive. But we're not even close. Oh. She just won't cower. She refuses to move out of the way. You guys are killing me. But you can, unfortunately the big three, Califia, King Tom, and Porco, when you counter them, you can actually, for some reason, they have like this aura about them where they actually will just do contact damage. Like if you stand in close enough to them, they'll do damage to you and screw up your counter and oftentimes get you killed. So it's very risky to attempt to counter them. But if you can get it off, it helps a ton because it guarantees at least one free Mornstar cast. Wow, to only see one Flying Cow is actually really, really good. So it makes up a little bit for how bad King Tom was. Really, really good. Don't cattle call her. Yeah, so we're in the 30s, Marcuson is in the 50s. So that should tell you we're about 20 levels behind, probably, on average. And that's for a non-grindy run. That's just a casual playthrough of the story without the speedrun aspects of it. Curtis, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. So now we go to Hamlin and kill Porco Loco, which is the better version of Porco Grosso from earlier. It dies so fast, and it's very, very easy compared to its earlier version, which is very, very difficult. Now, here we go again. Nice. Okay, so third try is fine. Especially, this is such a massive zone that if you can get that glitch in 50 tries, then you're saving time. Professor Palmer. Yeah, Magic Slinky, what's going on, man? Appreciate you popping in. And Fort Porco destroys me. I doubt he will. No, I'm telling you, it's a super easy fight. If you just stand far enough away, he can't kill you. Like none of his abilities can actually one-shot you. Period. So you can actually just be hella greedy, and let him just shoot his shots all day. And every time you take a hit, just heal yourself to full and be greedy again. So I really like this fight for that purpose. And we actually have to do the glitch one more time because we got to get through these two guards. And if I can do it within like the first 20 tries, it still saves time. Nice. And up here there's a guard that hides around this corner, but if you just run straight into this wall ahead of me, then he'll never get you. So, oh my god. So I said to run straight, and then I ran to the right for some reason. So, don't listen to me, I don't know anything about this game. First try run away though is favorable, so we'll take it. But here we are with Porco, the last of the big three. You can actually see just how little HP he has with how fast his HP bar goes down. And if we can get Oliver to cast free Morn Stars like that, it's a super fast fight. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that happens. So if Porco ever gets you against a wall, and it's the same way with the earlier version, he can stun lock you. He has the opportunity to do so. So that happens occasionally, not a big deal. It's my fault for backing up against the wall, but also a little bit of rotten luck, because he could have missed any of those attacks. He has very poor accuracy when it comes to that, but he managed to hit them all, so that's a little bit unfortunate.
Here goes nothing.
Oh! What the hell? I have to give points to an ability called Sausage Roll. That was my fault. I should have defended that, but I thought for sure that it would end. Its duration would be done before it reached me. So I'm just playing this badly. And honestly, he should be dead. It's weird that he's not. I'm afraid that if I use that item, it'll just get wasted. Okay, cool. Speedrun by my favorite gay streamer. Nah, man, I thought we established that I wasn't that wasn't me. That was, who else was it? It was Chrono Crosser, right? Oh. Goodness, y'all kill me. Oh man, the double. You gonna do me like that? So pork scrappings, you actually just have to. Oh, thanks a lot, Esther. So pork scrappings, you actually just have to run away from, but because Esther used her party buff, it actually rooted me in place. But that's the fight. So it wasn't the fastest Porco ever, but it was definitely still all right.
We won.
Do you plan on getting Ni no Kuni 2 right when it comes out? Absolutely. I absolutely will get it as soon as it comes out, and I plan on routing it the same day, or attempting to, at the very least. SecVTV, what's going on, my friend? HJ, it's good to see you, by the way. I didn't fail to comment on your appearance. It's good to see you as always. Nino in the house, hell yeah. Come on, man, don't do this to me. Travel to Old Smoky. You can pre-order it on Steam if you. Oh, I will definitely get it on. I will definitely get it on PC. I didn't know you could pre-order it on Steam. I looked on their website and didn't see it. So, but I didn't know you could actually probably do it on Steam. I don't like Steam, so I don't even have it installed. Whoa, come on, man. So right here, this is one of my favorite segments in the whole game because you just hop around and break ankles the whole time. It's amazing. You just jump skip this whole way. You actually can't land anywhere besides where I just landed. So you have to walk. I don't know why they make you do this. It's something to do with the story, like there is some kind of importance. I just don't care about it. So it makes me walk and it blows, but it's fun to like juke out all these critters. Just breaking ankles out here. Alright, am I even 13? Yeah, I'm 24. So yes, I am fortunately allowed to use Steam. Thank goodness. I'd hate to miss out on Steam. I just don't know what pre-ordering like gives you, as opposed to just waiting and buying it. So I typically don't pre-order stuff. I'd like to, like, if I'm going to get a hard copy, I'll reserve a copy. Yes, so doing the jumps, if you jump and open up a menu, you'll finish your jump animation, but everything else remains paused. So yeah, it's a way for you to get a little bit of space on every enemy every time you do it. Nino Kuni, definitely I would suggest, I mean, the first and the second aren't actually linked, so you can play the second without having ever played the first and not care whatsoever, because they're not the same storyline, the characters aren't the same or anything like that. But I would highly suggest playing the first one just to play it, because it's an amazing game. Yeah, if it's like a discounted rate, I'll pre-order, or if it's like it gives you like reservation or something, if it was like actually a hard copy, then usually I pre-order. Otherwise, when when it's just a digital download, I'll just buy it that day if I really care that much. If they sent like a map and a free T-shirt or something, then I'd be all about it. But will I play the second game casually? I don't know. I don't know actually. I think maybe I'll play it casually. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll just route it from the get-go. I guess I would have to at least try to play it casually in order to better even understand what I'm trying to route. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, I know the GameStop used to, like, if you put $5 down, you would at least, like, it wasn't really a pre-order, but you would at least reserve your copy. I did that for Halo Reach back in the day. Yeah, level 5 and Studio Ghibli. That's such a combination. It really is. So it's crazy. And this game was one of the top-selling PS3 titles in history. But like still, it's a struggle to find people who recognize the game or know the game at all. So it's just crazy to me, because it is such an incredible game. So right here we're literally just running to the boss that we have to fight. And it's the second to last boss. His name is Gallus. He's a little bit difficult, but ultimately he's not too much trouble. If you get snagged by a couple of his abilities, which are pretty spaced out, then sometimes you can struggle, but otherwise the fight's pretty foolproof. It just might take a little bit of time on occasion. Well, that's crazy. Yeah, see, I would really not be pleased with a game if they were, if you didn't pre-order it, you were losing out. Like, you should gain incentives that don't change anything, or you should, you know, not be able to pre-order. I don't believe that pre-orders should include something that, like, you'll never be able to complete the game the same way somebody who pre-ordered would. You know, maybe if you, like, I pre-ordered Dark Souls, 3, right? And it came with like this cool figurine and like this interesting little map or whatever, and like an art book. Like, that stuff's cool and it's tangible and I can like hang it up on my shelf, and it doesn't give me an advantage or something that other people who, you know, weren't able to do so, they couldn't partake in, you know what I mean? So Terra Infirma, I don't believe it's on me, so that's actually really good. Got a free Morningstar cast off. Ooh, I'm gonna get hit by that. Nope. Made it out just in the nick of time. So the only thing we have to watch out for is his blue aura. If we see the blue aura, we gotta start to protect ourselves, because he will use an ability that is very, very punishing. Does a lot of damage. Yep, there it is. Oh no, it's bad. Don't cast Ward, you idiot. So Ward actually canceled my Phoenix Feather. But it also canceled his casting of his ability, so that's kind of nice, I guess. Oh, no. Still gonna eat something. That's not too bad. I guess I'll take that trade. I do, however, need to get Marcuson. Wow, Esther, are you serious? She was just standing in the fire over there and got herself killed. That's incredible. That's incredible. Gallus takes a good amount, some kind of dream monster. That could have been from Morningstar? I don't know which one you might be talking about. It might not have been Morningstar, though. I have a spell that's significantly stronger than the rest of the spells I've used throughout the run. The dream monster might be Vile Heart, the Kingdom Heart looking thing. Yeah, see, like, Steven, like, that's a really good pre-order package. something that doesn't like change your ability to play the game, but like maybe some cool incentives or whatever, a T-shirt, a poster, and anything. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to like, I won't be able to 100% the game. Oh yikes! That's kind of a bummer.
I'll do my best.
Oh, Terra Infirma kills, I think. Yep.
This can't be happening.
Marcuson, what are you doing? Oh my goodness. Just waste your mana on wards. Killing me. Oh my god. Yeah, that's right. We need some more wards. That's what we're lacking. I was about to say I haven't seen a single bolted judgment, which she usually favors. Cast another Morningstar, please. No, it's not good enough.
Here goes nothing.
Oh wow. And I'm 1 mana away. Marcuson's over there beating on him for 1 damage a tick. I think this kills. Nope. He's got like 5 health, man. Come on now. Yeah, no, I absolutely understand. Producing physical stuff or whatever is not always worth it for the company, absolutely. Alrighty, so we have 29 minutes to beat the rest of the game. I gotta pee so bad, it's ridiculous. Oops. Ooh. Oh, that's what I forgot to do earlier. Very important, very important. Oh yeah, this is like 8 minutes ahead of world record right now. I think my Gala split on the world record was 606, 605, something like that. Ni no Kuni, one of the finest games ever. I agree, man. It's just a game that cannot be rivaled. It's a game everybody should at least play once. I don't know any advantage nowadays. Computers aren't even. Oh yeah, I'm talking about like the digital versus hard copies and stuff. Should be 1 monster. So right now, why I'm spamming Levitate is because I don't want the enemies in this hallway to spawn, because they're going to catch up to me. So by just spamming Levitate to make sure that the chat is always on the screen, it ensures that none of the creatures in that hallway are going to spawn and be able to engage me. Okie dokie. I gotta pee so bad, so let's hope that I don't die in this. I needed to pee like 40 minutes in, So that was hours ago. Alright, so this is the last boss. She comes in 3 phases. It's going to be Cassiopeia, which is the first phase, and then it's going to be I can't remember what the middle phase is. It might be Zodiac. Regardless, it's the second phase, which is like this giant demon dog, and then it's going to be the third phase, which is Zodiac, the bringer of doom. I do have my coffee cup. You're right. So he's gonna cast Ward right off the bat because he's just a huge piece of crap for some reason. So by casting Ward right there, it actually cost me quite a bit because it didn't allow Morningstar to go off before she got her first action off, which is usually will. I should defend that. Now Morningstar, if I cast it again, will get cancelled. Yep, I knew it. Harbinger of D's nuts. Wow. So that was so fast I couldn't even defend it. Oh, man. No, why did I do that? Dude, what? She's spamming like crazy. I've never seen her use 3 attacks in succession like that. She might actually not be able to melee right now. She might be glitched. Oh no, there she is. Thank goodness. That happens, man. This game has weird interactions in it sometimes. Let's hope I don't get punished by Fallen Star here. Okay, Starbolt's actually perfectly fine. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Ah, yikes. So that sucks. Oh, actually, that's huge. Tiny Tears coming in there is actually really helpful. That allows me to play a little bit greedy right here. So Drippy did one good thing all day. Let's hope I get this off before Fallen Star or anything comes out. Okay, cool.
Just as the prophecy foretold.
So the reason I waited till the very last second to defend right there is because I couldn't afford for Marcuson to cast Ward, because it would let her do that attack twice, and that attack is like a pretty punishing. Final boss, second phase. Yes, there is a third phase afterwards. Q Annihilation. Now, Annihilation is actually like supposed to be this big scary ability that she uses, but you can actually kind of guide it away from your team. Gonna cast Ward. What a goober, dude. Oh, a Gold Glim, how about that? I want Whirlwind to happen, so I need Jules to go get it. Wow, there's a lot of them. Oh no. Come on, Marcus, and why you do this to me, buddy? So the issue is defend only has like a certain period of time that it lasts. And as you can see, it wore off right at the end there because Marcuson casted Ward, which reset her rush animation. So she started over by the time the cutscene ended. And my defense had already ticked, you know, a certain amount of time. Ah, couldn't get it off in time. I can get that off. Oh, misjudged. Drippy is usually more useful than Marcuson. It really is. If Marcuson casts Ward, I'm gonna be so pissed off. Okay, cool. So what I do is I run Annihilation over here. I should have run it the other direction, but it's okay. It is really boring. It's also very hard because you've got to just play safe rather than greedy, which is kind of boring in and of itself. I've considered changing in the tactics menu, but the issue is they go 100% whatever you set them at. So if he runs out of mana, he'll just sit there. He won't do anything. He won't use any attacks. He won't do anything. So it makes him a little bit less useful than he is now. Or at least now I know that he's going to have a degree of usefulness to him. If I do instruct him to defend, sometimes he's going to cast Healing Magic, and sometimes it helps. But you can see just how hard it is to, I just gotta murder through restoration items. And then the next phase is the most difficult. So getting a stun off, a counterattack stun, actually helps quite a bit. Ignore Obby. Yeah, it's okay. Doesn't phase me. I just got a P too bad, that's all I can think about. So right here, before we kill it, I actually want to be in the highest amount of HP I can possibly be, because that's what you start the next fight at. This is risky. Okay, brilliant. So that paid off pretty big. So the last, I got 16 minutes to beat the, the third phase. but it's the hardest by far. Okay, let's go. So right here I switched to Marcuson so that I can guarantee he'll defend, because he's a little bit more important right now than everybody else is. And that's because he has the ability to kill all the... he has the ability to kill everything. He has a good AoE, and I need these satellites dealt with. So he is the most important person currently. And it's important to have Oliver up, because Oliver uses Even Star when you're not, and that actually does AoE damage as well. So it will kill the satellites pretty quickly. And this fight, all you gotta do is just rinse and repeat, play exceptionally safe, because if you get caught with Chaos, it'll actually kill you in one hit. The only person who can survive Chaos is Marcuson, and Esther if she has a high enough HP. So you just sit here and you run around in circles, you cast this. So Marcuson is important for a brief period of time. There's actually 2 or 3 times throughout this fight where you gotta kill satellites. And Cassiopeia is exceptionally important. So in times like that, when cutscenes happen, they actually allow the enemy to catch up to me a little bit, and it puts me in a really not so great spot. But that should be all of the satellites for now. We just focus on ironing out killing him. So what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to heal everyone, because Marcuson needs to be at 100% HP pretty much the entire time. So what you can actually do is he summons the satellites at certain HP thresholds, and I can actually wait for that before I hit that threshold and allow her to get off extra nicks to just push a little bit more damage. But you just gotta make sure that everybody is healthy first. That's your first priority. Oh, we don't like to see that. So right here, I'm going to let that Nyx land before I do any more damage. Yeah, you're almost double what we're at now in a casual playthrough, on average. Oliver's over there just hitting it with a stick, doing 1 damage. So we just gotta watch out for Chaos. Chaos is the most important thing in this fight. If you don't stop Chaos, if you don't defend Chaos, the fight is over. It's more priority than anything else. Okay, so Shock Blast is fine. So because he's using Shock Blast, I can afford to use this item on Oliver, which guarantees that he'll have a good amount of... Oh, Jesus. What are they doing? They just ate Shock Blast? Ooh. Oh, that's bad. Even Star is very important here. I needed to come out and kill these satellites, so that helps quite a bit. And that's why I give Oliver the Great Sage's Secrets. Because now when I'm not running away from those, I can focus on just winning the fight. I'm actually a little bit hesitant, so I'm going to throw out fast spells until I see Chaos or something else. Yeah, you'll be Oliver hitting monsters with a stick. On the real though. So we need Nyx to get off at 100% of the time. That's the most important thing about this fight as far as like what your AI can offer you. That's huge. That's a really good HP point as well for her to be So, unfortunately, Marcuson is going to take a lot of damage, but Esther guarded as soon as I said to, so we're all going to live this, which is really, really huge. And thankfully I have a provision that actually brings... the Phoenix Tears are super important here, because you can... Oh, it got off, thank goodness. Because it actually revives them at full HP. So... that helps to remedy the fact that Marcuson just got beasted on. So, I don't know who lives this. This is a really, really punishing Chaos right here. So I need to be very, very smart with what my next move is. I think switching to Esther. Yes.
I'll do my best.
So that'll almost always happen. You'll almost always be in that situation, and the right move is to go to Esther because I know for a fact that she didn't have aggro there. Whereas Marcuson did. So it guaranteed that Marcuson was going to get hit as soon as he got up. And now we should be able to come back from this. So, well, we need Nyx to land, and then we can probably kill. There it is. Huge, 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 huge. Now it's important that I switch to Marcuson here, because I need him to be healthy, because if I get caught with the last second chaos, I'm in a lot of trouble. That's it. Oh no! I stopped it. Did anybody know what the time was? Oh, I hit the wrong button and I reset it.
Justice has been done.
That's fine, I'll just bring up the time. I gotta pee first. Holy crap. That's world record though, baby. That's it. That's it. Okay, so that might have been the longest pee I've ever taken in my life. I'm so sorry, guys. So I'm using a different split timer than I usually. That's it. Oh no! I stopped. That's so funny. I stopped. That's it. Yep, 6:22:28. That's it, guys. That's a world record right there. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Thank you so much for that clip. That is very beneficial. I was just gonna go have to watch the VODs or some crap. Thank you guys so much. Very, very, very clutch clipping right there.
Thanks to you, I feel the urge to live again stirring in my heart. You have given me hope.
Woo! Thank you guys so much. Very clutch.
Sadness.
Clutching it out right there with the
It's time for a fresh start, Your Majesty.
clutching it out right there with the clip. I really appreciate it. You can watch this cutscene here for a minute. It's actually pretty cool while they set up the next run. I don't think they're 100% ready yet.
And let the past stay in the past.
Too right. That's what
Whew.
the old man would have wanted, innit?
That was crazy.
Indeed. But first, I must make amends to the people of this world for all that I have done. Of course.
Oh my goodness.
Things one step at a time.
Is that number 4 of the marathon? I have no idea. But that was incredibly. That was woof. A little shooken up. Sorry guys. I had to after I screwed it up. After I screwed it up, I just went and peed. Like I couldn't even sit here and figure it out. I saved so 6:27:07. So about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. World record increase. Oh my goodness. Phew. Thank you guys so much for the support. You guys are amazing. Thanks for all the world records in chat. Appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, so that run is man, it's there wasn't a whole lot of time lost. So I'm reading the what was it? Happy photocopy. It wasn't actually significant time loss. It was just that the fights weren't going like the fights can go 100 different ways every single time. So from the late game wasn't actually as bad as I was making it out to be. It's just that in order, like the most optimal version of those fights, you can actually they can go a little bit faster, you know. But in my PB, so the King Tom fight that I was throwing a fit about, I actually was like 4 or 5 minutes faster than the previous world record because of how I died in that fight in the world record. And then the Gallus actually went really quickly. In that fight there at the end, that third stage of Zodiac might have been the fastest I've ever done it. So that was actually, it went, despite it looking like it was going terribly, that's just kind of how it goes. But you can also get exceptionally lucky and just get great RNG as far as the moves they use and things like that. The Califia, the Queen Lola. That fight went super well, and in my PB it went terribly. So so in comparison, you know, they're not the greatest fights I could have gotten, but they were definitely favorable as far as comparing to my PB, if that makes sense. Sorry, if that's not a very good explanation. And I did happy photocopy. I did save a good amount of time on Vile Heart. So the second phase of Vile Heart, which is about 4.5 hours in, took me about 3.5 minutes, and it only took me about 45 seconds in this run. So that helped a lot to kind of give me some wiggle room to screw up a little bit later on. So, whew! Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Y'all are amazing. Thank you guys for letting me run. Especially, it was terrific. Yeah, exactly. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. Yeah, it was a so great game. If anybody's interested in running it, I know it's a little long. I know it's I complained a lot about it in the RNG and stuff like that, but you know what, it happens. Don't take my complaints as a reason not to run it, because it's an amazing game. So if you guys want to come and run it, we have a great guide. Me and Quaz are always trying to get people to play, and we're constantly talking every day in Discord about strats and stuff like that. So there's a lot to be done with this game to lower the time even further. Yeah, coffee roommate, only use me Kipo, coming through with that coffee when I needed it the most. Quaz for coming up with most of the route adjustments, and me just basically getting told what to do. Dude, I can't believe my bladder made it 6.5 hours. I needed to pee 45 minutes in, so whatever. Good stuff, good stuff. But my Twitch is Professor_Palmer, and if you guys want to come follow, I run this game. I run Parasite Eve. That's my other world record, and I really, Parasite Eve is my big one. But I'm considering running a lot of new stuff. So if you guys want to give me some ideas, shoot me some messages, games that are similar to Ni no Kuni, games that are completely different, whatever you think, send me some stuff, because I'm kind of at a loss right now. I'm considering running Pets Cats 2, which is a game about cats, and all they do is meow the whole time, and you just do cat stuff. So that might be a meme that I speedrun for a little bit. But Ni no Kuni world record now with complimentary kidney stones. Iron Bladder Palmer. Oh man. Oh goodness. How much is a PS3 these days? They're pretty cheap, man. Like 120, I think. And I'm sure that you can find one on Craigslist for even more reasonable a cost. So I actually have two, believe it or not. But we have I have one with like an HDD 7200, and it runs like an SSD. So we actually don't allow those, because my world record with an SSD HDD category is actually like 608. But this is stock machinery, what you saw today. So this is the world record for that kind of hardware, because we actually don't officially allow the SSDs or advanced HDDs.
Mom, I'm gonna get on with my life. And I know you'll always be watching over.
Dude, I'm down to speedrun bad games. If you got a bad game, Dustin, go ahead and DM, like private message me that name, and I'll look into it, man, because I don't care if it's a bad game. I don't care if there's any runners of it. I'll run it, or I'll at least consider it. Pets Cats 2 is a dreadful game. Dreadful game. And I'm considering running that, so. Enchanted Arms is just like this game. I'm considering running a game about cats, so like, come on guys. So here at the very end, you